Let's see. Let's see how this goes. Okay, let's see here. This looks decent. New camera. So, as opposed to me using my cell phone cam to make everything happen, using this one. And maybe it'll suck, maybe it won't. So far, I mean, I don't think I look any worse. Probably trying too hard to focus on the mic in front of it or whatever, but no biggie. As long as it's basically recording what's happening. You know, we're not all here to see my pretty face. And that looks fine, and let's just assume it all goes normal. It's got a little more contrast on my skin, or like, I'm not sure it's as exposed for like the darks or whatever you might say, but we'll see. And if the low light stuff works or doesn't work, that might inform as well, but it wasn't too much to buy. So let's see here, and just make sure this works. Looks good. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Let's do it live. Zelda. This file is getting too big. I think I can admit that. Let's see. The big Zelda file is 534 megabytes. Yeah. Yeah, I think it might be time. Might be time to chop it up, because it's only going to get bigger and bigger, and like, what real gain am I going to have? Given that I'm sort of deciding to color these. Like, when I do my storyboarding, it makes a lot of sense. There's efficiencies in having each image arranged on a big image where I can easily hop from one to the next and get executed all in a short amount of time. The amount of time it saves is definitely worth it. But this project isn't quite like that. This project is, you know, there's months to go on this project. It doesn't necessarily serve me to do it that way. I wonder. And I'm considering pushing some of this to color right now. Well, I mean, it's be a slow process. But it's come up where people are like, so when are you going to color? Or can't wait to see your color process. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's what the people want. So I don't necessarily think of it as like a crazy challenge. It's just adds time. And, you know, I'm not a color expert. But it would be fun. Possibly make them look even better. Probably would. If I do it right. If I can. We'll see. Maybe I can do it. Maybe, though, I can... Just to make sure. I'll probably go through them all first and just do some quick... Just like I did here. I did this sort of ambient occlusion pass where the lighting is just sort of very generic. It might be smart to do that. Whoa, what's this rando line? Hello, rando. Where could that be? Layer 141. Of course, there's no way for me to search for that layer. Oh, I'll keep it. Oh, there it is. It's under the Vire. So let's turn these other ones off. We'll see. Here, I'll let it go like this. I'll keep doing the ambient shading. I'll do it for all of these. It's like, yes, the file size is half a gigabyte, 500 megabytes right now. It's huge. It's about as big as any project I've ever worked on. But the program itself is still being responsive. Let's learn. Let's see how far we can get. Meanwhile, we'll do iterative saving. We'll make sure we won't lose any data. This is sort of an educational project for me too. So let's let it be that. This one's a little funny because this foreground stuff is painted in. And I kind of like it. Just leave it there. We can have a little fun experiments like that. Some of this stuff is a little laggy. We'll see. Maybe today's the day where it finally gives up. It says, I can't do it anymore. Huh. That's fun. Okay. And it may be boring, but if nothing else, I'm gonna go and make sure all of my unnamed layers aren't just empty or needing deletion or needing to be named. Layer 134, what are you? Okay, you're the pupil. Not all of these streams will be sexy fun times. But it's kind of how the sausage is made sometimes. Now, if the chat is super quiet, I just might take the time to just label everything anyway. It's okay, people can be busy. That's the foreground skeleton. Other skeleton. I can tell my daughter is in the restroom. She might need to have me help her in a second. But today will theoretically be a big day for streaming because my setup at the studio in my parents' house is now complete. I haven't worked out of there yet, but this will be a fun day to try that. Fairy lines. Fairy fill. Background lines. Looks like I didn't even have a fill layer for the background. Yeah, it's true. Background fill. And if anybody's in the chat and actually wants to see something happen, I'll be happy to indulge. But until then, I'm gonna assume it's quiet and do some of this busy work stuff. Just sort of become a big complex file that has all these random, possibly empty layers, unnamed layers. It's hilarious. I can hear my daughter in the other room shrieking with laughter over SpongeBob SquarePants, which I guess she's seen an episode or two before, but now she's like 7.5 right now. She's very much of the age where like you can really start to get that humor. Those are the original thumbnails. Yeah, okay. We can delete this old layer, this group. Huh, okay. Glowing eyes in the background. Lines for the bats, known as geese. Geese fills. Link lines. Link fills. Stalfos 1 lines. Stalfos 1 fills. Stalfos 2 lines. Stalfos 2 fills. Beamos lines. Beamos fills. It's a cool track. Background lines. Mystery layer. Let's see if I select the layer content, it might show up here as something that's getting selected, but I don't see anything. That doesn't mean there's nothing there. It just might mean that there's a pixel, and it could even be something that's like beyond the border of the canvas. That's still information that's retained in the file, but it's not information I need or can use. Okay, and so that's the background fill. Going through and organizing this stuff, it's like eating your spinach. Or like, maybe that's a bad analogy. It's like cleaning your room. It's not exciting. It's not sexy, but having the result be much simpler and easier to work with is great. Okay. This looks decently organized. Speed lines, Zelda 1. Zelda lines. Zelda fill. Horse lines. Horse fill. Link lines. Link fill. Tree and ground lines. Foregrass fill, fallen tree fill. I'll call these mid-grass lines. Mid-grass fill. Okay. Okay, this looks like it's a little hard to tell. That looks fine. Crushed forest lines. Crushed forest fill. Octorock right arm lines. Octorock right arm fill. Octorock front arm lines. Octorock front arm fill. Octorock head. Lines. Octorock sack. Lines. Octorock sack fill. Octorock back arm. Lines. Octorock back arm fill. Birds. Probably hard to see, but they're in there. Far forest lines. Far forest fill. Back mountain lines. Back mountain fill. Range fill. Sky fill. And the Octorock BJ, or BG, BG is not visible. It's just completely covered up with elements, which is great. Cool. Everything named and accounted for here. Save my progress. Let's see if that changes the... Yeah, it cut down the file size by 14 megabytes. So the true file size of this thing, in terms of like what's needed versus like what's actually in it, I could probably knock out another 50 megabytes. Get it under 500. And buy me some time. Just overall, probably have better performance. Ooh, look at this. I've got some dropped frames. 0.9%. 0.9%. My gosh. What's happening? Is it my internet that sucks? Wonder what the dealio is. Well, beyond the obvious, I'm not sure what causes that. But I'm excited that the other studio, theoretically, the internet will be very solid due to it being hardwired. Sort of stealing my brother's old streaming hardwire cable. Okay, link lines. Link fill. Blood drips. Okay, I don't see anything in this layer. Ah, okay, so here's what I mean. I selected something, I couldn't see what it was. And apparently, yeah, it's just the world's tiniest layer of something. Whatever this is. But we don't need it. Bye-bye. This is odd. Did I never really draw that? I never really drew the background for this. This is something I need to fix. I mean, it gives the right impression. It's sort of like this rough-hewn, carved out stuff, but I mean, I guess I don't need everything to be perfect. Wall lines. Yeah, it's interesting. Wall fill. Fire one lines. Fire one fill. Rope one. Looks like I got a little lazy at some point and just kept all the ropes on their own single layer. It's one way to do it. My wife is calling. I'm not sure why. If it's really an emergency, she can keep calling. I will pick her up. I will pick up whatever she needs. Fire two lines. Fire two fill. Rope. Call this rope 4. He should really be at the bottom of the stack since he's so far away. You can't even see him, so I'm not even sure why he's in there. Like, is there a point? I don't mind just sort of stashing him where we can't see him. Background lines. Rope 2. Rope 3. Background fill. Okay. Looks good. Okay, this one's super simple. Link lines. Link fill. Vary lines. Vary fill. Bottle lines. Bottle fill. Interesting random bits of line. As part of the fill? That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, those are more like monster lines. Monster lines. Monsterville. Grass lines. Grass fill. I think I do have to acknowledge that if this is meant to be content for streaming, that the color stuff is probably going to be important to embrace. So I should just color everything. That said, it still makes sense to do what I'm doing. A black and white finish definitely has application in my work, but there are broader goals here at stake. Horsehead fill. Wizrobe. Lines. Wizrobe fill. Gibdo lines. Gibdo fill. Background lines. Background fill. Sky fill. Great. Save the work, see if it goes down at all. It might even go up, because technically if I'm naming these layers... Oh, wow. We're under 500 now. Makes sense to clean up, get rid of what you don't need. Get organized. Okay, so this is a... There's a top layer here. Yeah, that was just an overlay effect. Okay, I must have done that just to have an interesting export. Light glare. Foreground, headstones, lines. Foreground, headstones, fill. Link kid, lines. Link kid fill. Guinea lines. Guinea fill. So what happened here? I had it all on one layer. I don't think I need that to be the case anymore. Oh, okay. So this is the tricky thing is the guinea's hand is on top of the headstone, but the guinea's body is in back of the headstone. So that's why I kind of fudged it, drew it all on one layer, but with separate fills. But I don't like that. That's not very clean. When a perfectly good option here is to separate the hand, which is in the foreground. The hand and like some of these like crumblies. So cut out the hand. And some of these rocks. Great. The fill of the hand. And some of these rocks. Guinea hand fill. Great. Okay, now the lines for the tombstone can be separated and exist under the hand, but in front of the guinea body. And the fill for that is pretty much already there. Yeah, just needs some cleaning up. Cool. Okay, what just happened? Oh, this whole thing turned off. That's interesting. What's happening here? Okay, looks like I was just drawing on the wrong layer. Okay. Wonder if the gargoyle needs to get moved. It's sort of occupying the same space and depth as the owl. And what if it was more like in the background? Gargoyle. Can feel a bit more separated. Because the owl is kind of supposed to be like the protector or the guide. So for him to just sort of be standing behind something scary, or rather next to it, little... get away with making this guy even smaller? Because it doesn't do to have them, the gargoyle and the owl, at like similar sizes in the composition. Like, that's not good. I want it to be more clear that one is clearly bigger than the other. Hey, Destiny. Tweaking the composition on this one. How have you been? Busy arranging stuff for a trip to Albuquerque. Try to go find a temporary job to save some money. This sounds like a trip is not entirely a pleasure cruise, not a trip of your first choice. A trip you're not super excited about. That's just my inference. That's what I'm gleaning from the subtext. What's in Albuquerque that beckons you? Not a pleasure trip. You don't have to disclose, but if you felt like talking about it, I'm here. We've all had to take unwanted trips. Data's work there. So, some family involvement, sounds like. Extendo trip. Something takes... It's gonna take enough time to keep you busy, sounds like. Right. place to stay without spending terrible money on rents. Yes, rents are too damn high. What kind of work are you? That is not always an opportunity. Truck driver. Ah, I see. Yeah, truck drivers don't seem to spend a lot of time at their own residence. They're on the road all the time. I have a friend his roommate was a truck driver, and not a bad roommate, I guess, to have. Guy was pretty much never there, so it was like having no roommate at all, apart from picking up some, you know, walk my dog, essentially, kind of exchange. I can't recall if I've ever been to Albuquerque, but New Mexico, I believe I've at least driven through. I don't know much about it. Try to get a job in a factory or something as a technician, but if I can't get that, take almost whatever I can. I wish you luck. I don't imagine. I think half my friends here are laid off. Pretty much all my friends here who work in entertainment are either desperately clinging to their jobs or they've been laid off for over a year. And so I would not necessarily say it's a great place to visit LA on your way to Albuquerque. Is your dad ill? I'm sorry to hear if he is, but it sounds like you're visiting him and for necessary reasons. It's an interesting thing in the time of internet and social media. It can be that, I guess, if you move your location, you can still sort of bring your friends with you in spirit and stay in contact a lot easier than it would normally be. Wherever you go, make sure you get good internet connection, I suppose, is the solution. It's mostly for keeping us company and trying to save money. My dad is supposed to be retired, but he's stubborn and makes money. Well, do you get along with your dad? I hope since you're gonna be in closer contact with him, I hope that's the case. I'm super fortunate to get along really great with my parents. I need their help on a constant basis, probably because I'm just really immature, but we have kids, and having them available and willing and able to babysit is a great help. My brother's already there, and me and my sister will be joining them. Mom will stay here in Mexico, taking care of her home and pets and sister-in-law and niece. How long do you see yourself being in Albuquerque? On your trip, quote unquote. I'm asking questions that will completely fill in the details of the gaps of anything you've not disclosed. I will infer. It can be tricky to say what's on our minds. All right, there we go. I feel like that is a little better in terms of things being less like I want the graveyard to be a scary place. I want things that are recognizable in the background, but not being more important than this stuff over here. And it being clear that, like, that's a gargoyle and a headstone and not, like, an actual bad guy. Let's see here. We get along fine. There are some times where it gets hard to speak with him, kind of old school and conservative. That's no fun. Does he at least, is he at least, like, a hypocrite enough to, like, enjoy, you know, I don't know. It's like, both of my parents, like, gave an air of conservative stuff growing up. But, like, as soon as me and my brother were on our own, quote unquote, they had no problem, you know. They were, like, first in line at the weed shops down the street to, you know, buy up a stash and, you know, enjoy all the things that used to be illegal. Christmas, depending on how much you saved. All right. Well, saving money is difficult. It's a difficult sacrifice, but it's a smart one. I think this is all a blessing in disguise. Yes? And if it isn't, make it so. I don't know. Right now the composition is making this too important, but if I just lighten up the fill on it... Oh, that's too light. It's so subtle. I just want it to mostly disappear so it's not drawing the eye as much. Short summary of my dad is that whatever he reads on the internet, WhatsApp, TikTok, he believes unless it's something he likes. He believes it, yeah. How funny. Parents growing up always told us you can't believe what you're reading on the internet until it was their turn. Until they had something to read on the internet. Then it's like, wow. You have to do your research. Don't you know? It's interesting. Not that I care to talk about the politics, but approaching the election season is when I start to realize how big the country is and how and like God, there's like, I was talking to my like 7-year-old daughter about it, and she's like, Daddy, did you know there are 50 states? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling. The USA is a huge country. All right, watching a lot of conspiracy theories about Biden and shit. Okay, yeah. The deep fakes. This will be an interesting... I think we all know my opinions about AI art. But if anything will seal the fate of AI's relevance and use in our society, it will be the... You know, even as I speak, right now, there are forces at work creating deepfake, misinformation, with the power of these AI tools. And I'm hoping that how it affects the politics will... Well, I'm hoping what happens is that the... legislature will see the need to intercede and act on the behalf of people affected by AI, now that they can be affected by AI with deepfakes and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it is funny. It's funny watching our... It doesn't happen in every case, but they become like gullible children. More time than sense. Nothing to do but gossip and let their imaginations wander, I suppose. People have these... People formulate their political opinions based on their fears and their imaginations about what's happening out there. I don't know. Like, I'm in LA, like, we're just a big melting pot that, especially over time, as long as I've been in it, it just sort of feels like, I don't know, like I don't have like a... It always just seems that like people have opinions about like, oh well, you know, minorities or whatever, but like it's just never... things didn't bear out the way that people thought they would, or like predicted, like the crime-ridden Los Angeles that movies like Demolition Man or like Predator 2, where it was just like gang members firing off machine guns constantly or whatever. It's just like, this never happens. It's impossible. It's you know, the worst thing that happens now is like, you know, a store will get like looted, like mass looted or something, and that's super rare. Like they make a big deal about it online or whatever, but it's like pretty much not happening. Okay, let's see here. Your dad's Mexican and was offered American citizenship a long time ago, and he took it. Okay, and so now he's decided that now he's gonna be a Trump supporter and pull up the ladder behind him kind of thing. I'm you should know also, I barely take the time to vote, so I'm not a political person. I believe, and I don't have beliefs, but I suppose, based on my experience, that the real politics is in Hollywood, and Washington D.C. is like the real Hollywood. So it's like, that is to say that like real political change is brought about through forces of like culture and media and like propaganda, sort of, and like everything that happens in like Washington D.C. with actual politicians, all that is theater. So I have a topsy-turvy kind of look to it, where I'm like, probably the commercials I work on have more relevance in actually changing society than going and, you know, voting on whatever stuff happens. It's a little bit of a cynical view, but you know, you can tell I don't actually follow politics per se, but I am aware of great changes that happen via the stuff that I do, working in commercials, and how you know, the representation that we put into our commercial spots is, you know, it's not like we're doing this to actually change society, but as society changes, it's mirrored in the media that we produce, and a little bit of vice versa. So let's see here. And Destiny, what I'm doing today is I've reached kind of a milestone where I've got all these images at about the halfway point with the black and white. And I've essentially decided to just go for it and color them all. Because why not? I feel like that'll get better traction on like social media and Twitch, and probably more. It's definitely been something people keep asking about. It's like, when are you going to color these? When are you going to color these? And being a storyboard artist, I don't typically work with like color, the medium of color, but I have techniques, and I do know a little bit about it. So it's going to be an interesting thing. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone a little, delve into color, show some techniques I use. And I think the results will be good. But there might be some learning that happens as we go along, but I'll just approach it like I would as if it was a job, and take care to do it right, and the best way I know how. And if I get lost, I'm going to do research and try and figure things out. So it'll be spectacular eventually. Destiny says, I'm not familiar with U.S. politics besides what gets published or into international news. You're 25 and never voted in the U.S., but I guess it's a start. Are you in Mexico? Is that, I believe, you'll forgive me because some things I get mixed up, but I think it's all starting to come together in my recollection. Part of the reason I don't remember is, like, a lot of times at night I've been drinking, and I have some memory problems that way. You're Mexican American. All of North and South America are Americans. We're all Americans. It's right there in the name. And Mexicans are North American. And everyone in South America is, I'm not doing bad accents. Very good. How do you like, I'm curious to visit, so on the books we have a trip to, I think, Cancun. My friend's parents, like, they have a timeshare that they want us to come and use and visit. So that's it's like one of those, you can do like the all expenses, whatnots, and so next year I'll be visiting Mexico. Okay, right. America. America is named for Amerigo Vespucci, the Renaissance map maker. Thus, America. The mainstream beaches are not as good as people paint them. Like, I've been to Hawaii and stuff. Like, I love, like, Hawaii in terms of, like, amazing beach stuff. Obviously, places there can be super crowded. Um, I've been to Costa Rica. I thought their beaches were good, not Hawaii good. And I I LA has great beaches. Like Long Beach beaches are amazing. You know, Venice Beach is really cool. So, so like I'm not necessarily going for like beach culture. My wife just loves to travel, and the kids will enjoy a. It'll feel relatively safe and easy for us to turn off our brains and enjoy vacation, to be at a sort of curated experience, like a timeshare, all inclusive resort. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Cancun is getting dirtier. I wouldn't be surprised. The Mexico's a big place too, which is interesting. Where in Mexico? Not, and that won't inform me much, but I'm curious where, like, are you near a beach? Are you central? Are you in a little town no one's heard of? Mazatlan. Ah. Mazatlan, I might have even been to on a. Don't hate me, but my parents used to go on cruises, so I think I've been to Mazatlan on a cruise. But like been to. It's like you get off for like 4 hours and you get back on the boat and you're in a new place the next day. So, and I would have been there when I was like 13, when, you know, I was probably addicted to my Game Boy and didn't even look up. Not as full as others. Yeah. Let's see here. Wallmaster fills. Ground pillar. Well, have you visited America much? Like, you seem like you might have, but I thought I'd ask the question. And then, like, what do you think? What do you think of 3 hours away? Wow. Okay. Yeah. I think you had told me before. Forgive me if I get this wrong, but you sort of manage like a liquor store or something. $20 to $30 states in the U.S. Okay, worked with your dad, huh? Interesting. But that, like, working with your dad would have been, like, context to be in the United States, if I catch your drift. So are you a U.S. citizen as well? Because if your dad is, then maybe that was your option as well. I've probably been to like 15 US states. Such a big country. I don't think I could name 30 US states. Ah, there you go. Helped them with the books you're supposed to fill when trucking, like highways you go through and shit, the logging. Yeah, that makes sense. That administrative stuff is important. When do you go on your trip? Is this imminent? Like, you leave tomorrow? Ah, uh-huh. You have to do them the moment they happen. Well, you can't do them well after the fact when you're in a bar after a hard day's work. That's definitely true. You leave in 8 hours. Okay. So you must be packing. Well, it's cool you're hanging out with me for a little bit. Chill vibes and a little bit of art. Whoa, what happened? Whoa, something is weird. There's like water dripping. What the hell? No! Ugh! Oh, there's condensation from this stupid water bottle, and it made a little puddle, and then I put my pen down in the puddle. Yeah, it's all good. I got distracted with this thing too. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might have to switch to a different stylus if I have one. It's really just a little bit. Also, I don't think these pens are too sensitive to the to water. Like I don't think the pen is ruined. Like I wouldn't want to soak it in water. But yeah, it's something is activated, and I think it's the water that got in. I think I should just set it aside and let it dry. Let's see if I can find a different style. Like, I know I've got other styluses. I'm prepared for anything. Voila. Okay. This one. This one is cooperating. Okay. I'm the dad you never had. Yeah. I am. Do we look alike? I can't see you. Is there family resemblance? Do you have long, luscious hair like I do? You don't think we look alike? That's too bad for you. No, just kidding. All right, I'll cancel the paternity test then. My state is too hot to have long hair too. It is a little strange. I don't have a great reason for me growing my hair out other than my hair on my head, like on my scalp, hasn't gone gray yet. And I feel like once it does, it'll not be a good option to grow it out after that fact. We'll see, of course, but my brother Boxer also has hair that he's growing out. His is gray, which is weird. Yeah, you're going from one hot place to another. What are you thinking? I've got a giant fan here that I need to turn on. That I can't because it's so loud. The microphone picks it up. So I'm suffering with you. It's not that we don't have AC. It's just the way the house is. This room. They didn't do a good job with the installation, and we kind of had to pick. Do we want AC in the bedroom or do we want AC in my office? And we went with the bedroom. So my office is sweltering. But I'm not complaining. I don't mind a little sweat. What happened to me the other day is I got super sunburned. We went to the beach. I was really stupid. I didn't put on any sunscreen. Or it's like I got lazy with it. But before I knew it, we had been there 4 hours. And then I put some on. By then it was too late. And it was like, this is how stupid and vain I am. Like, I didn't want to put on sunscreen because it's like, you know, it makes your skin look all gross. The kind of sunscreen I need is like the white paint, like the zinc paint. And I'm like, well, like whatever, I'll just get a little sunburned, and then it'll even out. I'll look better. Well, because I don't want to look stupid wearing like zinc paint. And then like we're at the beach, and of course, like I'm so vain that like, you know, there's cute girls or whatever. And they're looking at me and smiling. I'm like, yeah, these chicks are into me. But now I understand that they were laughing at me because I was like lobster red. Like lobster red. I still am. I just don't think it's coming through on the camera. But like if I go like this, like you can kind of see there. It was so bad the other, maybe up here, yeah. You can see the, ugh. You know, ugh. It's ouchy. Holy shit. It's like, dude, you suck. Here, it's right here. Let's see here. Yeah. It's like my skin's, it's like, it feels like I was trapped in a microwave or something like that. It's like I'm still in the sun, even though I'm in the shade. Really painful. And I don't deserve the sympathy, but at least I'm getting some from everyone else. Yeah, the camera is doing a decent job of evening out what is really painful. What I'm doing right now is I'm going into the drawing layers and separating out things that will help me save time later, like these tendrils. If I break them up into more discrete sections, it will save time later on when I'm coloring, and keep things more organized. I should have like a towel right here, but I don't. I'm vain when it's about my hair too. Last month I went to Mexico City and I had to walk a lot and to use sunscreen, but I didn't want to mess with my hair, so I was careful not to touch it. When we got back from the walk, I had straight line sunburn on my forehead right below my hairline. I have it's really hard to see, but there's white like all this is white from my sunglasses that I wore all day long. So I have like this sort of inverted raccoon pattern that probably isn't that noticeable on the stream, but when I look in the mirror, I look like an idiot. I just look like an idiot who fell asleep in the sun and had no friends to tell him to do something about it. And like, it's like, it's not only you don't only look like a fool. It's like you are in pain, or at least like your sunburn is not as bad as mine. Probably, you probably just got a normal tan line. Like my wife is Norwegian, but she tans beautifully. Like she can, sit out and just get like this great golden color. And she never burns, or if she gets red at all, it's like for a couple of hours and then it's beautiful. In my case, I just, unfortunately, like if I don't do tiny baby steps of tanning, then I'm just in pain. I don't have a line on my temples that I could tell. I didn't really have like hair down, but probably I would have. Maybe on the edges. I don't know. There's always sun in LA. I'm always catching some sun, as long as like that skin would be exposed normally. So like my face and my forearms always have some color, but up here, whew, on my back, and my poor legs. And then it's like, you feel like an idiot, but then like I'm trying to go to sleep, and it's no fun. And then like guarantee in like a day or two I'm gonna start peeling. Okay, you use glasses, yeah. What? I can't. Oh my god, there's like a limit to the amount of words you can put into the layer name, I guess. I hate this program. Sometimes. This is good. By deleting empty layers and getting organized, I've shaved off 60 megabytes off of an originally 549 megabyte file. You just get a little darker when you get under the sun. I guess it's not as bad as you getting all red. Yes, I mean, that is to say, like, I will be red. I might peel. My body actually does tan. It's just lazy with the tanning. And it doesn't want to. So it's like me, it's lazy. My skin is lazy. So if it can do nothing, it's going to do nothing. If you force it to tan for the sake of its own protection, it will, but it will do it slowly. and it won't want to. And when it goes away, it's not going to want to come back either. So my skin just isn't very ambitious when it comes to producing melanin. Great. My kids seem to be good about tanning like normal people, so I'm grateful for that. But I've learned a lesson today. This is over the weekend. It was on Sunday that I got sunburned, so it's lasted many days now. Do I like LA better than other places to live? Yes, I do. I can't help it. I was born. I'm in Studio City right now, which is kind of like a nice area. It's Hollywood adjacent. You can imagine like the Hollywood sign hill that overlooks Hollywood. Studio City is on the other side of that hill. It's not, that's a little bit of a simplification, but I think in terms of like, if you're not familiar with the area, like that's a great way to think of it is the Hollywood Hills. Like I see the other side of them, like if I step out onto my street and look left. That is to say that like I'm near the entertainment capital of the world or whatever, but I'm not like, I'm actually, a couple miles removed from the touristy parts. So where I am, we kind of have the best of both worlds. LA is a big enough place where it's like, sure, you could go to one place and it sucks, but you can go other places and it's awesome. And sort of knowing the difference is important. There's something for everybody. But I was born here, so me staying here isn't necessarily me being ambitious. It's just laziness, really. Has everything I need, has everything I want. My family's here. I work in this industry. And, I wish things were cheaper, but it's not like being here isn't prices that I'm not used to, so it's normal. And the good part of that is like when I do go to a place, like if we travel, I'll go to a place that's expensive or whatever, and it's not expensive. It's the same prices that we have at home, So there's never really that kind of like, ooh, traveling to New York, it's so expensive. It's like New York, Manhattan prices are the same as LA prices, really, for the kind of stuff that we do. Not necessarily for like if you're looking for rent or whatever. It's absurd in New York, but if I go to a bar in New York and their cocktails are $14, I'm like, that's normal prices for LA. So that's how it is. A lot of the things that you could have complained about LA that were true, those would have been true more like 20 years ago. Things didn't head off a cliff like the way, I think we were talking about this, the media would have had you believe that, gangsters took over every corner, and it's like nothing like that happened ever. What happened was that video games got really fun, and people stopped being bored and going out and getting into trouble at night. They did things with their friends online, and yeah, there's plenty to do in LA that you can afford without needing to turn to a life of crime or something like that. So LA is just great weather, and there's good space, and it's expensive. That's the major downside. The public schools here, depending on where you are fine, and in my area they're good. So I'm happy to say that, like, LA, I'm gonna stay here as long as I can. But like, my wife is from Alaska, and so we visit Alaska fairly regularly, maybe like once a year or every other year. And if like, say if my parents pass away and I feel like the industry is drying up for me here, and for some people it is, then we could move to Alaska and live there. And it's expensive there, but we wouldn't have it's not like it's nothing we're not used to. And my wife has friends and family up there that we could make a new life there if we had to. I know, I should move to Mexico. I love Mexican food. I really enjoyed. We went to a place called Sandos. It's one of those all-inclusive ridiculous things. Again, I know those are like bubbles compared to like the real experience or whatever. Yeah, you don't have to. I'd never say never. I might do something like that. Like if my wife left me for some tall, handsome Norwegian pirate or something like that, and it was just up to me, like where would I go? Mexico wouldn't be a bad solution, because I love Mexican food, and yeah. But retirement aside, even if just I could live a little more cheaply, that brings it into the realm of possibility as well. LA is apart from the traffic and the expense, however, LA is wonderful. It really is. There was a time during COVID where LA shut down. This would have been like March 19th or something like that. It was like a Friday when in 2020, when LA shut down. They took it fairly seriously, so no traffic whatsoever. And if you were driving somewhere, they wanted you to have like a reason to be driving. And I was driving to my parents' house on a regular basis to get them to help watch my kids while I worked, because I could at least do my work from home. And there was this period of a couple of weeks where it was just a little bit rainy and there was no traffic, and I could be anywhere in LA in 20 minutes, and the rain had washed all the dust away, and there was beautiful clouds and beautiful air, and the trees were all green and everything was growing, and it was like LA was like a paradise. Now it's a paradise for people who can live without ever leaving the house, of course, which isn't great. But it took away all the traffic. that I would normally have to deal with, and that was amazing. And the weather was really perfect. Like if you come here in the during certain times of year when it's not just hot but also really nice, it's just amazing. So and my wife loves to travel. My wife has a good job, so we can afford to get around on vacations and stuff, thanks to her. But no matter where we go, I always love coming home. LA is normal to me. It's a natural place for me to still consider long term. We've got roots here. My parents have a house. We bought a house. That's hard stuff to do in LA, and we've managed to do okay so far. Oh my gosh. Wow. Sorry, I got distracted by something insanely cool. It's insanely cool. I might as well try to see what I can do here. My friend... Yeah. My friend is an actor, and he's showing me his costume. He plays like a satyr, which is like a fawn or a pan. Let's see here. Yeah, these are fun costume designs. Yeah, it's kind of cool, right? Like a real actor. Real stuff. That's a good... That looks like him, too. That's obviously a cast or a bust, but obviously they've got someone really making this stuff. Cool. Destiny, I'm going to go in 5 minutes to pick up my kids, take them to my parents' house. Interestingly enough, the stream will continue. You don't have to, if you're bored of me, it's no worries. But I am actually going to pick up the stream again there because I've got a setup. I got a new laptop. I got a new... The laptop has a webcam. I got a new mic. It'll look different. The stream will look different, but I'll just be continuing my work. So if you continue to be bored and feel like checking in again, I will be there. So... Excitement continues. Do you like flying? Are you travel averse? What's making you nervous? I mean, there's lots of reasons to be nervous about travel and airplanes, but like oh, you're taking buses, of course. Okay. And you have a long trip ahead of you, man. Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Alright. That would give me anxiety, too. A lot of interconnecting nodes that have to go just right. Interesting. Yeah. And you don't have anything lined up specifically, so you're going to go and just sort of see what's available. Hi, Kiki. You made a butterfly. How cute is that? What's its name? Flower the butterfly. Oh, that's the cutest thing. That's insanely cute. Well, my butterfly of a daughter brought in a butterfly, and it's take it as a let's see here. Butterflies are a symbol of metamorphosis or change, and change is a painful but necessary part of the human condition and life in general. And without change, see, the butterfly, if it does not go through the pain of metamorphosizing and going through the pain of giving birth to its new form, it will die in the cocoon. The pain of change will give birth to the new you that will result, and there is no other way. Let's see here. So that will be the metaphor I will send you away with. I hope it brings a good fortune. It's a totally different lifestyle. The change, yeah, the anxiety and the change will be real. Yeah. It's our educational moment. See if you can spot the signs. Keep an eye out for any butterfly migrations as you go. There will be there's always something there. All right, I literally have to stop the stream, put on my shoes, and head out the door in a second. So I'm going to save my work, Destiny. If I don't see you on the next stream, then I bid you good luck. Otherwise, I will see you next time. And say hi to your girlfriend for me. All right, but in all seriousness, hope it goes well, and I'll see you next time. All right, thanks.